Hey everybody. Shout out to Pluke Jones for letting me borrow the SB3 from Compoform here. This is their brand new piece, hasn't even been released yet to the public. So we're taking a look at it today. Besides Pluke doing a review and kind of an overview on the piece. I think this might be one of the first reviews. So first off, Ivan's pieces are literally art. It's hard to say anything otherwise. He's a master machinist, and looking at these pieces in titanium and knowing what goes into machining metal and the precision and just how finicky some of these materials can be, it's a wonder that this shit comes out as perfect as it does. And I mean, even machining this small step pattern on these buttons and the seamless welds on the side. I know I'm jumping right in, but you know what? Actually, let me get a couple of my other Compoform pieces to showcase and compare. All right, nothing to it. Here we go. So we've got the Tesseract, which was not the the latest release, because the latest release was the V4, which was the larger version of the V3 slider. Then we've got the V2 Clover. Clover, V3, Tesseract. This is the SB3. Why is it called the SB3? The other version of this was smaller with only 2 buttons in it, and so it was the side-by-side, SBS. You know, you make it a little longer, you throw in an extra piece. It just makes sense. It's the SB3. So, perfect branding. Generally, they will reach out and ask for names or ideas for names. Tesseract was a name that I think the Compoform community came up with, and that person usually wins something, whether it's money off one of the pieces, I'm not sure. So really cool. It's just kind of a fun way to get the fidget community involved. So first, let's take a look at some of these other pieces. One of the main kind of signatures of Compoform pieces is pattern on pattern. What I mean by that, you've got this radial pattern here on this piece and then lines on this piece. And so you don't get a scratch, but you get like this. You can hear it's not a scratch, but it's this kind of surface rubbing of the titanium patterns together. And that always adds this kind of extra layer to his pieces that really sets them apart. Then the V3, you can see there, you've got this kind of loose wave on loose wave. But when you put them together, you can hear that isn't just the usual sound. You know what? Hold on one second here. Sorry about that if the sound was kind of quiet. My voice, at least, for that first half of the video, I realized I still had the microphone set up for ASMR, which is a little more directed. So, okay. So you're hearing that pattern on pattern sound. The Clover is really sought after as one of his best pieces The V2 was kind of unbeatable. You've got this inlay right here, a wave pattern, kind of tighter waves than the V3, and then the radial pattern here. There's a little gnat in here that I'm going to have to swat at some point. Oh, you son of a bitch. So, this is definitely one of the best, most repeatable pieces, because you can get a really good flow. It's really good in the hand. So now let's clear those out, and let's talk SB3 and how it compares. So compared to the SBS, this thing rocks. You've got, I think, about another inch of, this is like lunch tray style. Sometimes they call it lunch tray fidget, where you've got this tray and the pieces are moving around within the fidget, or within the tray, rather. It lends itself to a lot of different combinations. Not necessarily as repeatable. It's a little more for people that like a structured fidget. The clover is something I think is why it's kind of sought after. Is it's almost like a video game, like The Last of Us, where you feel like the world is fully explorable, but it's actually guiding you in a way. So, you know, you're like, oh, I can go up and down and left and right, but the piece guides you. This, you can still figure out a flow, 100%, but it's a little more up to the user what's happening with the piece. So you might get it and like to do this. You might like to go up like that and push that piece down, pop that down. And this is kind of, I'll say this has been my flow, is, I'm not a big lanyard guy, but I'll pop it in here, is up, pop that in, down, pop that down, up, pop it up, down, pop it down. And just keep going like that. That's very addictive to me. With the extra space, just cut my nails. Oh, Christ. If you can get it in between, that's the easiest way when you cut your nails, is get it in between magnets so the strength is less, and then you can pull it off. With the extra space, this piece is pretty bonkers, just using it as a two-piece. There is a lot of space to play around, and that was maybe one of the complaints with the SBS was, let's say you get, how do I want to do this here, and you want to get that piece in there. It's totally possible to do that. Oh, no, I was holding it like that. It's totally possible to do this and get that in there. But sometimes, if you're in the middle of a flow and you do that, it doesn't always go in perfectly. Sometimes you hit this edge, so you go up and you get kind of hung up right there. Now, that is not the norm, and once you use it often enough, you get that flow where that's not going to happen. But like I said, using it as a two-piece with the extra inch of lunch tray space. Hold on, I gotta use my left hand to get it. It's pretty cool. Now, pattern on pattern that I talked about. So you've got these grooves here in the tray, and this is, I don't think the slide click. Slide click was another piece of his where it had buttons similar to this, but they were finished all the way across. So these magnets were encased, and this titanium ripple pattern or radial pattern was the entire face of this. Now, he spent a lot of time with the SBS making sure that the magnet strength was like idyllic. And it was a very challenging part of that piece for him. And so he left the magnets exposed. At first I worried that that was going to maybe lessen the feedback in terms of the pattern on pattern sound, but it totally doesn't. This might be one of the best, might be one of the best sounds or feels from a Compoform piece, I think. It's just very soft. It's very smooth. The magnets, like I said, are the perfect strength. So if he had encased these particular magnets also in titanium, it would have lessened the strength to a point where it wouldn't have been as good. I think this piece rocks, to be honest. I think this might be, this might be up there in the top 5, to be honest. I think the Clover and the V3 are easily top 5. I know people would fight me if I said that the V1 wasn't in there. It's not for me necessarily. I think the Compoform was, or the Tesseract was very innovative, and I love that piece a lot. But I think this belongs right up there. Really great sound, really great feel. Like I said, master machinist. This pattern feels really great on the hand. It's great for grip. The buttons are concave ever so slightly. I don't know if you can see it. Can you see that they come up right on the ends just to make it easy over that ridge of the tray to maneuver them. The other thing I love about this piece is there's so much to do with it that I can not look at it and just flip these things around while watching a movie. And that's perfection to me. I don't have to worry about anything flying off or, maneuvering a piece incorrectly and having it pop out. It just, all encased. Like I said, the option to take more buttons out and have extra room to mess around. Awesome. So as the drop happens, they've got different colors. There's this silver, there's blue, there's purple, and something else. Definitely check out the Compoform Facebook page, and I'll spell it out right here, Compoform. And the Facebook page has people that are selling some of their used pieces. They have announcements for upcoming pieces and drops. So definitely check that out. And if you got any questions, feel free to ask me. Feel free to talk to Pluke, the moderator. Super cool guy. Pluke, you rock, man. Thank you for letting me try this out. Get yourself an SB3, everybody.